Hello everyone. If you're watching this portion, you are probably watching the replay, so welcome to the replay on this Instagram live that I decided to randomly do today, because why not? Looks like people are starting to join, so we'll give it a few minutes for people to start trickling in to the live here. I think I'm going to talk a little bit about gaslighting and, how narcissistic abuse makes you feel like you're going crazy. But as always, if you've got any questions, this can turn into sort of like a Q&A. More than happy to answer your questions. And if you type the word detox in the comments as I am live right here in the chat, you will get the link to learn more about my 5-day guilt detox. It's only $7 for lifetime access if you're interested. And if you struggle with guilt, might be very helpful for you. And if you're watching the replay, if you're watching the replay on Instagram, you can type detox in the comments under the replay video and you'll get the link sent to your DMs. If you're watching the replay on YouTube, check out the link in the description and you'll see it. Anyways, so welcome everybody. Feel free to share in the comments where you are from. My name is Adriana. I'm a life coach. I'm based out of Toronto, Canada. I am absolutely not a therapist. I never claimed to be a therapist. I am a life coach, helping survivors of narcissistic abuse to heal, set boundaries, and live life on their own terms. Some people ask, what's the difference? So, if you're having mental health issues due to the narcissistic abuse, you want to see a therapist for that. If you are at the point where you want accountability and strategies to move forward with your life, then that is where a coach kind of comes into play. So, welcome everyone. And why did I become a coach? I'll very briefly touch on that. So I was raised by a narcissistic mother. She died 4 years ago. It's not bad. It's not a bad thing. And this damn fly. This is what happened. I have bug spray. This is I don't know where it's gonna go. These damn flies. This is what happens when you have too many fucking plants because you decided to become the crazy plant lady during the pandemic and now they're taking over, and I thought I got them all, but I guess not. But if you see me like a psycho spraying bug spray at the air, it's because there's these stupid flies. Anyways, what am I talking about? My mother. Yes, she was a narcissist. And I didn't know until I was in a breakup with a narcissist, and this would be the final narcissist I would date after dating way more than I'm proud to admit that I did. I am happily married to a normal man now, so there is hope that if you have a little pattern like I did of dating narcissists, you can still find a normal person and you don't have to be doomed to continue repeating that pattern. And pretty much I went down the Google rabbit hole after that breakup because I was so confused, and then I learned he was a narcissist, and so were all my other ex-boyfriends pretty much. And then I found something about signs that your mother's a narcissist, and it was just holy existential crisis Batman. And I didn't start healing until a few years after that, because it wasn't until I had really severe physical chronic pain that I learned about something called the mind-body connection, which if you've ever heard of Dr. John Sarno, if you have chronic pain, look into Dr. Sarno, look into the Curable app. This is some life-changing shit and life-saving shit, quite frankly, because I was in so much chronic pain. I had TMJ dysfunction, migraines, carpal tunnel syndrome, and then I got shingles in my mouth whilst doing this stupid treatment to rearrange my jaw to maybe not get migraines anymore. Stopped that after learning about the mind-body connection, because the mind-body connection is the truth. It's the real stuff. I know I sound a little bit insane talking about this, but it's it's legit. I thought it was bullshit when I first heard about it. So if you have chronic pain, Dr. John Sarno, his work literally saved my life. And yeah, I got shingles in my mouth, and I ended up with something called trigeminal neuralgia, which is nicknamed the suicide disease because that is how painful it is. And I was 30 at the time when this all happened, the mouth shingles. I already had 4 years of really bad migraines and shit like that. And I found out about Dr. Sarno, the mind-body connection, very reluctantly did the inner work, and it worked. Within 4 months, I was pain-free. Decided to become a coach. I started off actually as a pain coach, and then as I started sharing more and more of my story, I'm a narcissistic abuse recovery coach, and pretty much almost all my clients who have been narcissistically abused have some form of chronic pain. So basically in my programs and all the work I do with my clients, we kill two birds with one stone. So we heal from the abuse and the physical manifestations, whether it's chronic pain, mystery illnesses, all that kind of stuff. It looks like we've got some questions in the chat, so I will read those. So Lisa said he moved to another country and didn't seem to want to have a conversation, just wished me well and went dark. Of course, I did not reply to his texts, and it seems like he blocked me again. Yeah, that's a discard right there. I don't see any like previous context to that. So I'm assuming this was like a relationship. And is that like how he broke up with you? Like that's horrible, insensitive, super fucked up, but I'm glad you didn't reply to his texts. And yeah, you're discarded at this point. So just take that and run with it and be no contact with this person. Because you do not deserve that kind of shit in your life. The lazy healer. Yes, I dated a bad narcissist for a long time and later realized I gravitated towards that behavior because I grew up with it. It was my normal. Exactly. Yeah, that's exactly it, right? Like same for me. It's you learn when you're a kid like what love is supposed to be, and if it's toxicity and narcissism, you're not going to question that in adult relationships because it's just like the norm. And we had our first August Q&A in my Freedom group coaching program last night, and this actually came up. And if anybody is interested in joining the Freedom program, it is $800 off for the month of August. So if you join now, you'll be able to join in on the next Voxer coaching day and Q&A session later this month. And you get lifetime access to the Freedom course, plus twice per month Q&As, twice per month one-on-one Voxer coaching days with me. So it works out to be like a lot less expensive than one-on-one coaching. And it's literally $800 off. Like you're saving over 50%. So if you are interested, head over to the link in my bio. You'll see it there. You'll learn more about it. Discounts expiring on August 31st. So get in before then to take advantage. If you're watching this on the YouTube replay, check out the link in the description. It will be there as well. But anyways, this did come up last night in our Q&A, and basically it's like the bar is so low, like the standards that a narcissistic parent sets for you on like what you should accept and how you should be treated, and what love is supposed to be, like the bar is like below ground. Like it is just so low that it's going to be really hard for you if there's like a covert narcissist that's manipulating you. You're not going to be able to recognize it because the example that you have is already so shitty. So it's like you just accept abuse and you have no idea that that's not normal until you go down a Google rabbit hole or the algorithm brings you to my page or somebody else's page, and it's one of those really like wake up call kind of things. So yeah. Let's see. Hello, explore possible. All right, looks like no one else has questions. So I'll kind of ramble about what gaslighting is. So basically, gaslighting is when a narcissist makes you believe that you're going crazy, like they make you question your own reality. So, they will be so confident in the bullshit that they're saying. Like something will happen, right? Like they'll do something or they'll say something and you call them out on it. And then they say, that didn't happen, I didn't say that, you're going crazy, you're remembering wrong, you're hearing wrong, something's wrong with you. And it's really done to distract you from the abuse and make you believe that you're the issue, right? So when you're distracted that you're the issue, you don't recognize what the real issue is, which is that this person is manipulating you, this person is abusing you, this person is a piece of shit. And, because the focus is on you and how you're too sensitive and something is wrong with you and whatever they're saying, right? And it's the thing with narcissists, right, is let's talk about the cycle of abuse and how they kind of, what's the word? Like, I don't know, exert authority. That's not the right word, but like, let's go with that for now. So basically, like there's the love bombing phase. So if you were raised by a narcissistic parent, they didn't necessarily need to love bomb you because you're just there. Like you don't choose your parents. You're just there. Like you're just born to them or adopted to them or however it is you came to be. You had no choice in the matter. And so they don't have to go through that initial like grand gesture of love bombing, but they still do love bomb. It's basically anything that's going to gain your trust. Anytime they're reasonable, anytime they agree with you, anytime they seem to be admitting something that they should have admitted years ago. And then of course in like a romantic relationship, they like sweep you off your feet and, you're the most amazing person they ever met. Like it's basically whatever they need to say or do in order to gain your trust. And they are very likable in the love bombing stage because you're not going to trust somebody who you don't like, right? So they have to really put on this persona and pretend that there's somebody who they're not in order to gain that trust. And then this is where the bullshit starts to happen, because as soon as they're satisfied that they have gained your trust, that's when the devaluation starts. So they will start insulting you. They'll start being horrible to you. They'll start, these little digs, chips at your confidence, just digs at your appearance, like whatever they know, because remember, they gained your trust, so they're going to know about all of your vulnerabilities, all of your triggers, all of your traumas and stuff like that. So they'll use that in the devaluation in order to make you feel like shit. And then the discard is when they stop talking to you. So I don't remember who, I think Lisa, it was Lisa earlier who said that, her narcissist moved to another country and stopped talking to her. That's absolutely discard right there. Sometimes discard can be very subtle, where it's like, I don't want to talk about this conversation anymore. Or, they go to bed angry and then they wake up in the morning as if nothing ever happened. So then we're going back into the love bomb. So it's like literally love bomb, devalue, discard, love bomb, devalue, discard. And that's all you can look forward to. And how this ties in with gaslighting is that you already trust them by the time they're gaslighting you, right? Because like they have kind of positioned them as an authority in your life, and you trust them because they love bombed you. And then they start gaslighting you and making you question your reality because you already trust them. So you're going to believe them, and then you start believing that something's wrong with you and you're the issue because you can't remember properly, you can't hear properly, whatever it is. So I hope that made sense. It looks like a few questions have come through in the chat. Explore possible they take offense very easily. Yeah, absolutely. Like they get offended. Like, you could like mention like, oh, it's a really nice day outside today, and they'll be offended by that. Like it's just insane. And that's, kind of like to intimidate you and like exert dominance on you as well, and like make you afraid. Like they control people through fear, like guilt, shame, and fear. I tell my clients all the time, these are the three musketeers. These are the three emotions that if you are in those emotional states, you are easier to control. And narcissists love to induce those states within you in order to make you easier to control. And catwalk out the cat's paw or confuse you. Yeah, confusion. Is a sign of abuse, right? So in a normal, healthy relationship, there should not be any confusion. And if there is confusion, it gets resolved with like a very civilized, pretty quick conversation, and you're on the same page. But with a narcissist, they're intentionally confusing you because confused people are easier to control. So they do whatever they can to confuse the crap out of you, which they do with gaslighting, right? Because when you're being gaslit, you're in a state of guilt, shame, or fear. You're confused as hell because you really thought you remembered it one way, which was correct, but this person's really confident that you didn't remember it that way. And so you start feeling super confused. So I tell all my clients, if you are confused, you are being abused. Like it's definitely a sign of narcissistic abuse and manipulation. And it's a sign that's overlooked because we tend to make confusion mean that, we did misunderstand. There is something wrong with us. Maybe the way that, we think about things is not right. But at the end of the day, it's, when it can't be resolved with a very simple conversation, it's because you're being manipulated by this person, because when you're confused, you are easier to control. Catwalk, why are triggers so powerful? Because triggers are related to a repressed emotion, right? And so if you haven't been processing your emotions, which no one ever does, right? Like we don't get taught this kind of stuff. And this is something I teach way more in depth in my programs and stuff like that. And if you want to kind of get a little taste of processing your emotions, take my free quiz. I think if you type quiz in the comments here on the live, it should send it to you via DM. Otherwise, it's at the link in my bio as well. And if you're on YouTube, it's link in the description. But the quiz will definitely help you to like understand your emotions and like how to start processing them and all that great stuff. But triggers are so powerful because, a narcissist will figure out like what your triggers are, what your traumas are, and they will use your triggers to get you in like an emotionally bamboozled state so that you're more likely to make a bad decision, right? Because you're more easier to control when you are in that state, and they do it on purpose. Tootsie 656, wow, yes, it can be very subtle but cruel, yeah, right? Because if it was like so obvious, right, especially at the beginning, if it was super, super obvious, you would have been out of there like a long time ago. But they do it so subtly that it's like, you know, you can kind of like brush it off like, okay, well, that was weird, but not that big of a deal, like whatever. And then, of course, it gets worse and worse and worse as time goes on. Catwalk, this is my whole family. Yes, they do get offended if you say it's a nice day. Yep, like literally anything can be offensive to them. LRVM, what can we do when they confuse us? So start doing your inner work before, right? Like just start doing the inner work. Do the journaling from my free quiz. The results will give you the instructions on how to journal. That's going to help you untangle your thoughts so you can stay more grounded in reality, and, you know, just stay in observer mode as much as possible when you're talking to a narcissist. Limit as much communication as possible with them whenever possible. But if it's not possible, just keep in mind they're going to go out of their way to confuse you, because confused people are easier to control. So just stay in observer mode. Don't get your emotions into it. And it's really hard to emotionally detach. And again, this is why I can't stress enough, like, do the inner work, start journaling, take my free quiz. The results are going to give you the instructions on how to journal. It's going to make more sense than what I can possibly convey here. Or, you know, I don't want to make this whole live about how to journal, because there's literally instructions in the quiz. So take the quiz. And don't worry about like someone finding your journal, because you're literally destroying it right after you write it. So it's not that kind of journaling that you have to worry about. This is a kind of journaling that's actually going to help you untangle the thoughts so you can get into the emotions and process the emotions. And then the confusion is going to start going away. And it's going to help you, you know, be better at gray rocking the narcissist and staying grounded in reality when you do have to interact with them. And just, you know, stay in that observer mode as much as possible. So I hope that made sense. Let me see. Keith, when my former wife reactivated her Facebook account after 12 months, I immediately blocked her since I have custody of the children because of her abuse. Good for you for blocking her, and I'm so glad that you got custody of the children. Like, I am so happy for you that the judge saw through her. That's amazing. She called and told me I was mean and hateful for doing that. I was like, what the fuck? I wasn't, was I? No. So she's trying to make you feel guilty, right? So, you know, if you want to do the guilt detox, type detox in the comments. It's only $7, 5-day guilt detox. And, you know, narcissists will make you feel guilty, because when you feel guilty, you're easier to control, right? Like, they appeal to your empathy. And the thing with us normals, I guess we're normal, I don't know, but like normal people with empathy, when someone is telling us that something we did was mean, we believe it because we give people the benefit of the doubt, right? And so when a narcissist is saying that you were mean for doing something, you start feeling guilty, because the last thing that you want is to, you know, make someone feel pain because of what you did, right? So that's all the guilt means. It just means you're a normal person with empathy who does not want the other person to be in pain because of your actions or your words. And you're a normal person, so you kind of want to rectify it or make it right with this person, or you start second guessing yourself. Like, was I mean? No, you were not mean, right? Like, she is not entitled to accessing you. You have custody of the kids, and that's that. Like, you don't need to have your ex on Facebook, you know? So, just throwing that out there. But when you're second guessing yourself, like, was I actually mean? That means that there's repressed guilt in there. And so it's so important to do that inner work to process the guilt. And also, like, just having that understanding that when you feel guilty, you're easier to control. So if she can make you feel like you're the meanest person ever for blocking her off of Facebook, chances are, you know, the first thing that you want to do when you don't... Let me start the sentence over. The first thing you want to do when you feel guilty is to not feel guilty. So you are more likely to take an action that is going to benefit the narcissist when you act on that guilt, rather than take an action to process the guilt and release it so you can get back to being grounded in reality that this person's full of shit. They're just trying to make me feel guilty, so I do something that's going to benefit them, right? So in order to not feel guilty, if you don't do the inner work, if you don't process the guilt, you're more likely to unblock her and re-add her and, you know, let her have access to any photos that you post of the kids and stuff like that. And she gets supply from that. And she feels powerful and in control. Like, oh, I got to make Keith feel guilty. So I'm going to, you know, so now I feel like I have control over him because the guilt worked and he unblocked me, right? So I hope that made sense. Explore possible. Stay away from people you dislike is good for numbing emotions. You don't want to do it to numb emotions. You want to do it to protect your sanity and still process your emotions away from those people. My books, my heart 6. My mom attacked me, so I threatened her with leaving her yesterday. Now she does love bombing and says I will change, but I don't believe. I just don't have financial independence. Yeah, so that's the cycle right there, right? Like love bomb, devalue, discard. So you threatened that you were going to leave, and I hope you will become financially independent in the very near future so that you can leave. And now that she knows that there's the threat of you leaving, right? So you leaving threatens her access to you and getting supply from you. And so now she's love bombing you and trying to gain your trust again so that you don't leave. And then as soon as, you know, she feels that she's gained your trust, she's going to start attacking you again and, you know, devaluing and treating you like shit, because that's the cycle of abuse and that's all you can look forward to. So do not buy her love bombing. She is not going to change. I'm glad that you don't believe her. And really now it's just about, you know, putting your focus on becoming financially independent as soon as possible so that you can get the fuck out of there as soon as you can. I am rooting for you. Maritza, my mom threatens to slap me, but I'm 18. I feel like I should press charges, but I feel guilty. What do I do? I mean, like, if she slaps you, you should absolutely call the police. Look into, like, the laws, if, like, threats of violence are considered a crime. And, again, if you feel guilty, right? Excuse me. If you feel guilty, right, you're not going to, so, okay, let me rephrase this. You feel guilty pressing charges, so you're more likely to not do it because you feel guilty, but it is a crime to physically assault another person, right? And so when you feel guilty, you're easier to control. And so your mom has installed this guilt button into you from day one, like since you were born or even like before you were born, that, you know, she knows how to push anytime, right? So you already naturally feel guilty. And so you're more likely to make a decision and act on that guilt so that you are not going to do something that would serve you but would serve her, right? And like if you are in an unsafe situation, like absolutely law enforcement 1,000%. Daniela, holy cow, I'm catching one of your lives. Amazing. Welcome. Glad to have you here. Keith, yes, what it says about guilt makes perfect sense. Thank you, Adriana. Do you post these lives so we can listen again? Yeah, the replay gets posted. So no worries. Maritza, you're very welcome. I believe your advice and I'm so thankful. Aw, you're very welcome. I'm so glad that was helpful. All right, guys. I'm gonna, oh, we have another question. The lazy healer. My thing I struggle with is not reacting to bad unsolicited advice. I've been told I'm not as smart just because she's older and the advice will essentially contradict whatever I previously said. So that could literally be a journal prompt, right? Like just whatever you got unsolicited advice about from the narcissist, and because that's going to help like with the emotional charge towards that situation. So take my free quiz. If you type quiz in the comments, I think it'll DM you the link. Otherwise, link in my bio, and use this situation as a journal prompt that, you know, you reacting to unsolicited advice. And of course, you're going to be told that, you know, like if it's terrible advice and like you didn't even fucking ask for it, it's like, I didn't ask you for this, like, what are you saying, right? And like, when you say that to a narcissist, right, like that they're gonna get mad at you, right? You're gonna kind of hit the shame rage trigger with the narcissist there, because it's like, you know, anybody who and this is something I have learned the very hard way, right? Like if I give advice that like not necessarily unsolicited, but someone wasn't ready to hear yet, and like I'm made aware of it, I'm like, oh fuck, okay, I'm never fucking giving advice again. You know what I mean? Like, cause you reflect on that shame and it's like, okay, cool. Like I'm going to use this emotion of shame to guide me to like not do this thing that is like not good for this person. However, with a narcissist, right, they don't reflect on their shame. It turns into rage. And so instead of, you know, this person reflecting and saying like, okay, like, I guess you didn't need that advice. Sorry about that. Won't do it again. But this is a narcissist we're dealing with. So now she turned that rage and that shame into rage and said, you're not as smart. And she's older. The advice, you know, like her advice is better, whatever, right? Because like her shame has been triggered, so she's going to get mad at you. And so, you know, it's really about you working on that trigger within yourself so that when she does give that unsolicited, terrible advice, you're just going to be like, cool, noted. I'm going to do this my way, end of story, without getting into a conversation. Because the more that you get into a conversation with them or tell them like, I didn't like that advice, or I don't find this useful for my specific situation, it's not going to go anywhere. You're going to be wasting your time and wasting your energy. So focus, pour that time and energy into yourself and your healing and like doing the inner work. And if you haven't taken the free quiz yet, do it, because the results are going to have journaling instructions that will be very helpful for you. And like I said earlier, it's not the type of journaling where it's, you know, you have to worry about, somebody finding it, because you're ripping it up after and it's all in detail in the quiz results. Let's see what else we've got. Jennifer, I have a narcissistic dad. I love your videos. I'm sorry you have a narcissistic dad, but I'm glad you love my videos. I'm so glad they resonate with you. Preach 30 years of damage on my life, but today is a new day of freedom. Amazing. So glad to hear. Maritza, I have been using your advice since I was 15. Oh my goodness, that's amazing. Aw, that is so awesome. And you know, the other thing, Maritza, for you, like you're so young and like you're so lucky that you're learning about this at such a young age, right? Like so many people don't know that they have a narcissistic mother or father until they're like in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s sometimes. And, you know, you have such an advantage of like being 18 and knowing about this since you were 15 that, you know, just that awareness itself can definitely help set you up for so much more success down the line. So I'm so thrilled for you, Maritza, that you've known about this already at such a young age, and that's only going to, it fucking sucks. Like, I'm not trying to sugarcoat anything at all. It still fucking sucks so much, but like just having that knowledge so much earlier, like you're not going to have to like waste so many more decades of your life like trying to work things out with your mom. So glad to hear. The lazy healer. My partner is a marine biologist, and she started going off about how she knows more about the fish he specializes in. Okay, like, good for her. Like, you know, and that's the thing, like, with narcissists, like, if they're, like, you know, they specialize in something, they'll just be like, oh, I know all of these things. I'm so much better than you. I know everything, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, no one fucking cares. Like, good for you. So it's funny. Aw, thank you, Jennifer. You're too kind. Daniela, 32 years and I'm a different person. Amazing. Jennifer, OMG, I'm crying tears right now. I'm so happy I'm not alone. And you are not alone, babe. You are an angel on earth. Aw. Maritza, I'm ashamed of my behavior and I have Andre issues. I'm assuming that's a typo. Issues, but I think it's because I'm easily triggered. How can I fix this? So again, you're 18. Like, the amount of self-awareness that you have at such a young age is freaking amazing. Like, don't be so hard on yourself, and like just understanding that like you even have the self-awareness of like the behavior that you're ashamed of. And you know, here's the thing too, like we know we all do things that we're not proud of. We all say things we're not proud of. I definitely, you know, once I was like starting my healing journey, I was so ashamed of like so much of my behavior. I have done some stupid shit. I have said some stupid shit. I have been a terrible friend to some of my friends who I'm not friends with anymore. You know, it is what it is. And like, we all do stupid shit because we're so conditioned by the narcissistic abuse to, you know, just have such a warped view on reality. And, you know, don't look at being easily triggered as like a bad thing, because triggers are an emotion that are coming up to come out, and you're triggered for a reason, right? And so if somebody is triggering you, why is that, right? They're trying to get you into like that emotionally bamboozled state, probably to manipulate you. So something that you can do is, you know, focus on the emotion. So I invite you to take the quiz, and I see Free to Be Me asked, where do we get the link for the quiz? So it looks like you did write quiz. So you may have gotten a DM already from me with the link for the quiz. So that's one way to get the link. If you type quiz in the comments here in the chat on the live, if you're watching the replay, type quiz in the comments under the replay video here on Instagram. If you're watching this on YouTube, check the link in the description. You'll see the quiz there. And if for whatever reason, writing quiz here on Instagram on the live is not sending you the link for the quiz, it's still at the link in my bio. You'll see it there. Or you can literally DM me the word quiz and it will automatically send you the link for the quiz. But I think Instagram made some changes to make my life more difficult, as if my content like doesn't reach people already. End rant. Because now I'm probably gonna get shadow banned for even saying that. Anyways, if you get like a DM from somebody, it goes into like a spam folder or like a message request folder. So make sure you're checking that message request folder, because there's a chance that it could be there. So check that out. Jennifer, breaking generational curses today. Way to go. My dad is bipolar and narcissistic. Fuck. So sorry. What a shit show. Keith. Abes? I think you mean Adriana. What you said about having a narcissistic mom is also true with me. That's part of why I married the one I did. Less than my mom at the time. How can I teach my kids to avoid marrying a narc? So just like setting a good example for your kids. Like you said before, you have full custody of them. Amazing. So they have the stable parent in their lives 24/7, which is fucking awesome. And, you know, it doesn't always work out that way. So just look at it like they already have that advantage. And so they're going to know, they already know that, like, you know, respect is important and what love is. And you're not showing them this example of abuse and bullshit or anything like that. So they're not going to normalize that in their minds. So, you know, you've done half the job, and then, you know, when they become of age, you can absolutely warn them about like what narcissistic behavior is and all that. But don't worry about it too much, because you are already setting such a great example for them. And the fact that they, you know, they have only access to you as the parent is so great, because they're not gonna have that warped access, because like most people do, like they have like 50-50, and then the kids have to go to like the narcissistic parents' house, and then they come back to the stable parents' house with like all this emotional damage, and they have to like deal with that. So it's just like such a shit show. So you're really lucky that you don't even have to deal with that. And, you know, they're not going to have these like crazy ideas of abuse being normal, because it's you're the primary caregiver. So that's amazing. Daniela, it's crazy how when you see the behavior, you know instantly. Seeing it in other people's relationship and them not knowing is insane. Yeah, totally. And it's, you know, the thing is, like, once you're like super aware, right, of like what narcissism is and like everything to look out for, yeah, it's insane. But it's also, you have to look back and think of like when you didn't realize that it was not normal, right? Because like that was normal to you. And a lot of the times it's like when you're in that bubble, it doesn't matter what somebody says to you, you're not going to see it. You have to really kind of have some kind of a wake-up call in your life to make you see it, if that makes sense. So it's at least there's more resources out there now. Right? But yeah. Jennifer, I have an ex-narc and dad. Oh, that sucks. Lumka, hi. After years of physical and emotional abuse, my mom burnt my thighs with hot water. Oh my fucking God. My family is begging me not to press charges because she's my mom. I don't know what to do. I'm in hospital right now. And also I'm 25 years old. Press fucking charges. Fuck her. That is like, if she's willing to do that, if she's willing to pour hot water on you and put you in the fucking hospital, what else is she gonna do? Right? So, oh my God. Oh my God. Like, is the hospital stuff not like helping you? Like with like a process on pressing charges? Like, I don't even see how it's a choice for you not to. You know what I mean? Like, fuck what your family is saying. Like, this, you could get killed by this woman. Like, this is like an extremely dangerous person, and I think you should absolutely press charges. Speak to, you know, a legal professional, obviously, but no, fuck her, and fuck what your family says. And if they're okay with what happened to you and what your mom did to you, they're fucked up too, and I would absolutely consider like cutting ties with them, because that's fucked up. I got very passionate there, but that's so not okay. I really hope you heal quickly and make a full recovery, and I'm so sorry that happened to you, and that is like completely unacceptable, and you should totally press charges. Like, fuck what your family says. I don't care if she's your mother. She's a dangerous person, and like, this is a literal crime. Like, this is assault. This, you know, could be like attempted murder. I don't know, but it's fucked. Maritza, I want to work with you. I definitely feel like you understand my situation. I'm so happy that you're giving me your time of the day. Aw, you're very welcome. And yeah, if you ever want to work with me, link in my bio. There's all the options there. Jennifer, what advice for moving forward? Therapy. I mean, therapy's, you know, great for like if you have mental health issues from the abuse, absolutely go to therapy. But a lot of the time, like, therapy can miss the mark with moving forward. There are the unicorn therapists out there. Good for them. If you found one, great, cool, amazing. But coaching is really great for moving forward as well, because in coaching you learn about the strategies, you learn, you know, how to move forward, you gain tools on moving forward, and you get the accountability in order to move forward. So, you know, a lot of people do both coaching and therapy. I'm obviously biased. I think coaching is great, and like, therapy didn't necessarily help me that much with my narcissistic mother. They just kind of said, oh, that's your mother, and I was like, okay, why am I here? So, you know, if you find that unicorn therapist that's helpful, great. Otherwise, coaching's a great option as well. And if anybody is interested, my Freedom group coaching program is on sale for $800 off. You can check it out at the link in my bio. If you're on YouTube, it's at the link in the description. And it's on sale all of August. If you sign up before the 31st, you get to save $800, which is more than 50% off. And there's payment plans as well to make it as accessible as possible. You get twice per month Q&A sessions, live, hosted by me, and twice per month one-on-one Voxer coaching days, where you literally get to chat with me on Voxer back and forth all day, voice message or text message, and I'm there for you for the entire day. So it's a pretty darn good deal, and for $800 off, more than half of the price off. Check it out at the link in my bio. You will not regret it. My books, my heart. My narc mom comes and goes with me to my uni every day, and it's awful. I want to go by myself, but I just can't communicate with her. She will be victim or attack me. So, I mean, okay, so if you're in university, I would imagine you're like of age, like you're over the age of 18. And so, yeah, like, I would, you know, are you able to go home by yourself, or does she pick you up? Like, it's just like with university, it's kind of like embarrassing, you know what I mean? Like having your mom drop you off and like pick you up, because like it's like you're supposed to be an adult at that point. So I mean, yeah, like it's just one of those things where like you just do it, like just go by yourself, like don't even communicate it to her. She's going to be the victim regardless. It's just really a matter of like expecting the expected with her, and you know, don't like try, see what happens, right? Like try to just tell her like, I'm gonna go by myself today. And if she becomes a victim or starts attacking you, just walk out of the house, like go, just, you know, end of story. She's going to become the victim because that's a guilt trip. She wants you to feel guilty because she's appealing to your empathy. And what we were saying earlier about guilt, you may have missed it, but people who feel guilty are easier to control. So if you feel like you are such a horrible person because you did something really bad to your mom, you're more likely to just allow her to continue going with you to university. And it's kind of fucking weird that she does that. So I mean, you know, let her be a victim. Like let her say what she is inevitably gonna say and just like tune it out in one ear, out the other. Journal about it. Take the detox if you're interested, because that's going to help too. The guilt detox, you can just type the word detox in the comments here or my DMs and you'll get the link. And, you know, just expecting the expected from her. Because like at the end of the day, like university is supposed to be like a really fun time and she's just trying to have control over it. So I hope you find a way to like not deal with her shit. Daniela, exactly. I have to watch what I say to friends that are going through it. Yeah, totally. Like I've had a few, like, can you imagine how hard it is for me to watch what I say with like any of my friends who might be in a narcissistic relationship? Because it's like, I can see it, but it's like, okay, like if they're not asking me for my opinion, I've learned the hard way. I just need to shut the fuck up and let them figure it out for themselves. And it's so hard. It is so hard. And they follow me too. And it's just like, oh my God, I hope you see it one day. But yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, you just really have to let the other person figure it out for themselves. And it's, you know, it's sad because it's like, it sucks. Like you don't want to see your friends suffering, but at the same time, like if they're not hearing you, you just have to hope that they figure it out for themselves. And it's, you know, part of healing is also recognizing that like you can't save everybody. You have to kind of let other people figure shit out for themselves. Jennifer, I would have thrown that hot water back on them. Maritza, press charges. Yeah, everyone is saying press charges. Fuck her. She's not learning that she can't control you. Yeah, we're all here for you. Jennifer, I love your videos. They're inspiring. Thank you. Lyrica, I sure do need to get my shit together. It's shift. I can definitely help you get your shift together. Feel free to check out the link in my bio for your options. Lumka, I'm thinking about my siblings because she's financially responsible for their college and fees. I wouldn't want to be responsible for them not being successful, I guess. I'm just tired in all ways. Why would you be responsible for your siblings' college? Like, that's not your problem. You're an adult. I'm hoping that you don't live there anymore. Press the fucking charges. Your mom can go fuck herself and, like, your siblings can figure it out. Like, you know, like, how, like, it just don't. What if you don't press the charges and then your mother kills one of your siblings, right? Like, was college worth it, or is their life worth it? So I would absolutely like go the route of pressing charges, because this is fucking serious. Maritza, do not be afraid. You are a person and deserve respect. Exactly. I echo that. My books, my heart, she literally goes and waits for me everywhere. That's fucked up. My mom was kind of like that too. I don't remember why or how she stopped. I think it just became an inconvenience for her. At some point, like once I was like able to have my own license and like she got her own car that was like a fancier car, you know, she just, like, I don't know if you can find a way for her to get supply in like another way. There might be a way, but like I don't know. But it's fucking weird. It's fucking weird. And yeah, this is, I think it was you earlier that said, like, you know, you're waiting to be financially independent. This is, you know, it's great that you're in university furthering your education so that you can get financially independent and get the fuck out of there as soon as possible. Let's see. Jennifer, yes, speaking facts. Maritza, me too. I feel like I'm no longer innocent and pure. Jennifer, same babe. They took our lives and innocence. That's why we have to fight together. Yeah, it's like, you know, you were innocent the whole time and they basically, you know, wasted so much of your life and so much of your time, but you get to heal. You get to heal and you will overcome this. Lumka, the manipulation behind she's your mom, she wouldn't abuse you. Well, she fucking did. You know, holds us back so much, makes one feel like we're imagining the abuse. Okay, Lauka, honey, you're in the hospital. You are literally in the hospital right now because she abused you. So whoever is saying she would not abuse you, they are on industrial strength fucking crack. They are in a delusion of all delusions, because pouring hot water on you and landing you in the hospital is 1,000% abuse, right? So, you know, I know you're in the hospital right now, but I would encourage you to journal if you can about this, right? Because that's going to help you to let go of the emotion so you can come to the clarity that like you need to fucking press charges because this was abuse. And just because she's your mother doesn't mean she's not capable of abuse. She obviously proved it that this was abuse. And like, you know, the other thing too, it's like the hospital staff, like, don't they know why you're there? Like, isn't there like, I feel like they might be hopefully encouraging you to press charges because that's such a fucking crime and it's so horrible. And, you know, I get it, right? Like there's such a double standard with mothers because people just have this idea that mothers are like these perfect angels who can do no wrong. But obviously, you know, she has very severely hurt you here. You are literally in the hospital and you are not imagining anything. Like, just look at where you are right now. You know what I mean? So you are not imagining this. This really happened. This is completely unacceptable and inexcusable. And, you know, like, who knows how much worse she could retaliate if she doesn't get sent to jail, you know? All right, guys, I do have to run because I have a call soon. Lemka, we're all here for you. You got this. And, you know, just try to stay grounded in reality as much as possible. Alrighty, everyone. I am going to wrap this up because I do have a call very soon. Thank you for being here live or in the replay. Once again, if you want to do the detox, drop the word detox in the comments before I end this live or in the comments underneath the video replay. If you're on YouTube, check out the link in the description or check out the link in my bio for more ways to work with me. And don't forget, the Freedom Program is over 50% off for the month of August. See you guys later. Bye, everyone.